Medicaid and drug pushers. Okay, so the Senate and the House got together and they passed their budget outline. Do you remember back when you were in, it was probably like ninth grade, eighth or ninth grade. I can't remember exactly where they started teaching how to write papers. They were preparing kids for college, and they would have a system where things were set up. I remember we had to write an outline for our paper, and then I remember the teacher made us use note cards to write the various different information that were put down. And they made the process a real pain in the butt. But anyway, neither here nor there. That's what they put together, is they put together an outline. An outline. This is what we want to get to. Okay. Almost look at it right now. Almost look at this whole budget process. I haven't used this in a while, but I've used it before. The underwear gnomes from South Park. Now, again, I'm a big South Park fan. The underwear gnomes, early part of the series, there were these gnomes that went around and the kids recognized that their underwear was being stolen from their drawers. And they saw that these gnomes did it. And the children followed the gnomes down to their lair, and the gnomes explained that they were running a business. And they showed the children of South Park their business plan. Number one in their business plan, collect underpants. Number two on their business plan was a question mark, and number three was profit. So basically what the congressional Republican gnomes did is they put together a very similar type of plan. Cut taxes, collect taxes, tariffs. What are we going to cut? Question mark. Number three, golden age of America, whatever their little thing is that they put together. They have to lay some things out, and they're going to have some fights, but I'm not confident. You're already seeing many Republicans have a collective freak out talking about cuts to Medicaid. Medicaid keeps growing. It's an entitlement we have that we spend. Get this again, you try to get your arms around the size of this. $850 billion a year. $850 billion a year. Again, if you're watching any of the news programs out there, Republicans that want to put cuts into Medicaid and reform it are cruel, heartless people that want people to bleed out in the streets. I don't know. With Donald Trump at the helm, being the populist that he is, if he's going to even look to cut this. Research, and recent polling on Medicaid and work requirements. Here's some of the numbers that we're at right now. More than 6 in 10 able-bodied adults on Medicaid report no earned income. 60%. Now, the public thinks that Medicaid is a safety net for low-income pregnant women and disabled Americans. When Barack Obama passed the Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, he expanded it, in essence, to a permanent entitlement for childless men in the prime working age of their life. What was it, last week, a week before here on the program, we talked about over 7 million men here in this country, prime working age, no problems whatsoever, that are just saying, screw it, I'm watching Netflix. I can live off the government. I don't need this nonsense. Now, the left, Democrats, claim those on Medicaid are working. No. The actual studies and statistics that they cite, there's one from the Kaiser Family Foundation and several others. They are garbage surveys if you actually take a look at them. Few dozen people were actually looked at in these things. The Medicaid agencies, they actually looked at the administrative records, okay, the receipts from state Medicaid agencies in 23 states. Again, this is a complete picture of earnings for nearly 21 million able-bodied adults on Medicaid. Millions are declining to work at all. Now, that's bad in more ways than one. Okay? It's not just the economics of it. This is a poison to our society. It is a mess for our society. I want to talk a little bit about this. I'm actually going to bring up a piece that I did some 13 years ago. And the piece was entitled Drug Pusher. And his 1935 State of the Union message, Franklin Roosevelt proposed Social Security, unemployment insurance, and aid to dependent children to help the deserving poor. But he also added a warning. The lessons of history, confirmed by evidence immediately before me, show conclusively that continued dependence on relief induces a spiritual and moral disintegration, fundamentally destructive to the national fiber. To dole out relief in this way is to administer a narcotic, a subtle destroyer of the human spirit. It is inimical to the dictates of sound policy. It is a violation of the traditions of America. Whenever there is discussion about reforming entitlements that we've put in play, the left has a collective freakout. When it's, Social Security, they'll go and they'll do like some sort of religious ritual down at the FDR statue in Washington, D.C. It's like they're one of their patron saints, for crying out loud. But again, even he agreed that this is not good. There was a study that I've cited often over the years. Welfare and the Culture of Poverty was put together by Cato. And basically, the study showed that welfare is both a consequence and a cause of several conditions that we would all agree are social pathologies. Now, these conditions include dependency, poverty, out-of-wedlock births, non-employment, abortion, violent crime. Now, I list those things. One's going to say, well, that sounds like drug abuse, substance abuse. All the money that we've spent on welfare and entitlements and the horrible side effects, you want to go all the way back. If you go FDR, go to really when the stuff got put on steroids, and Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s, it theoretically could make it, our nation's one of our most destructive drug problems. And you go through, like I said, look at the receipts, look at the trillions of dollars that have been spent since 1964 on a myriad of things. Have things gotten better? Take a look at the SNAP program. You can take a look at Medicare and Medicaid, a myriad of things. This does not make you cold, mean, heartless because you want to reform entitlement programs. You want to reform entitlement programs because you want a better outcome. You want a better outcome. I've almost come to the point in time for certain people, once they're addicted, good luck trying to get them off. Good luck trying to get them off. The problem that we have is oftentimes these same people that have figured out how the system works, can live off that system, have children. And then their children grow up in a household where they're not taught the type of worth ethic that you need to live, to truly live, to truly be a free human being, overcoming obstacles and achieving goals. I don't know what type of reform they're going to put in. I think work requirements are fantastic. I do. But you watch and see the nature of politics here in this country. They'll punt. They will punt on this. They don't want to upset anyone. I hope I'm wrong, because again, you truly want to help someone. Well, then you got to help them to get on their feet and off the couch. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.